Hey guys, my name is Kendrick and welcome to ENFP Mail. So today I get to interview Joyce. So Joyce, welcome.
Hey everyone, I'm glad to be here.
Now, Joyce, you are an INFJ, but you're not the standard kind of INFJ. What kind of INFJ are you?
I am an NITI.
hmm
Yeah.
And then what's your animal stack and sexual modalities?
Yep, I'm a sleep, consume, play, blast, and my modalities is FF.
Double feminine. Now, when you got your type back, how did you feel and what did you think?
It was really like I wasn't surprised that I was an INFJ because I've been typed by a few people before too, like Megan Lavoda's typed me and talking with famous people. So,
Okay.
and I've been into this for like 8 years. So I was like, yeah, I'm pretty sure about the INFJ part.
Right.
Sometimes, yeah. But what surprised me, I guess, was the masculine intuition. I was like, wow, I have masculine intuition.
Yeah. Now, why is it surprising to you that you have masculine intuition? Like, because what they say about people with masculine intuition, introvert intuition, is that they get so focused on what they're doing that they completely forget about their body. Like if you need to go to the washroom or you need to eat, you completely forget about that and you just get so focused on what you're doing. Do you feel like that happens to you?
Yeah, for me, like I kind of feel like my body doesn't really exist. It's just a thing that it's a vessel to communicate universal truths with about the human condition.
Yeah.
But like I don't see it as a like physical thing to like take care of all the time. I feel very disembodied from it.
What's that like? That's so fascinating. Like you're like a floating brain or something, or
Kind of, yeah.
yeah.
Like I feel like I focus more on the world of like creating insights and ideas rather than like the reality around me.
Gotcha. And then what about your blast? So the most standard INFJ would have blast first, right? But then you have it last. So do you feel like it's actually been a gift having that as a blast, having it last, or has it something that caused you more problems because maybe you're procrastinating too much, or you're not getting enough things done, or you have trouble getting started?
It's a gift and a curse in the sense that like I've been studying MBTI for so long, yet I still feel like a child in it in the sense that I never feel truly confident in my knowledge. But it's good because I get to accumulate a lot of information before disseminating things. So it hits the bullseye more often, but I produce things less often.
Um, Now, the cool thing about your type specifically is that you are the IJ type that actually has savior consume. So that's super cool. That's super good. That's super useful. Do you feel like that has served you pretty well? Like, both in terms of learning and also, not coming across as a know-it-all, like kind of like something that, rubs people the wrong way. Usually with IJ type is like, this person's not even listening to me. They're just telling me their known information over and over again, So anyways, what's your take on that?
Yeah, having consume up is really interesting for me. It's not really good for my wallet sometimes because like for the Enneagram, I wanted to learn everything about the Enneagram. So what I did is I bought David Favier's entire collection of the Enneagram and I'm like, oh, that is not good for my wallet. So consuming has its downfalls, but I'm pretty good with money otherwise. I would say one of the things that is really good about consume higher up is that I'm more open. Like I heard a lot of INFJs seem more like closed with like letting information in, but I'm willing to listen to people, I guess.
Yeah, I like how you said that it's bad for your wallet because it's like feminine SE, right? Like you completely disrespected the sensory to get more information. So that was quite funny. The close-minded thing, it's kind of interesting because my sister is an INFJ and she's definitely consumed last. Like she has so many books and she hasn't read a single one of them. So it's it's quite fascinating. Um, from my observation, are you a Type 9 Enneagram? Like you come
Oh,
across very Type 9.
really?
Yeah.
I have no idea what my Enneagram is. That has been the topic of debate. Yeah.
I feel like you're Type 9 Wing 8 because you're pretty impulsive in my opinion. Like okay, like for example, when you mentioned that you purchase all those Enneagram books like right off the bat, it seemed like it was like an impulsive action, right? You just did it, like you just did it, right?
I really wanted to be sure of my Enneagram type.
Yeah.
I wanted to be like sure in my masculine and I at the sake of the feminine sensory. So I'm like, okay, if I buy all this right away, then I can read it all and then I can point out which one I am.
And
then I
then
read it. And then I was like, I don't know which one I am.
yeah. No, because okay, like first of all, you're a mope, right? You're like sleep consume, and
Yeah.
sleep is usually associated with type 9. And as far as from what I personally have seen, most INFJs are either type 4 or type 9. And then there's like the weird random type 5, but usually they're type 4 and 9. Now, you do seem very more like, sleep energy, like, which is very associated with type 9. That's why I feel like you're a type 9. And I've also met people, I've had friends in real life that looks like you actually, who were, type 9 INFJs. So like when you actually sent me a message, I'm like, oh my God, I know someone that looks like her, you know?
That is so interesting.
Yeah. No, because I'm an ENFP, right? So ENFPs and INFJs naturally like.
Yeah, there's a gravitational pull. Like I've had ENFPs befriend me
Yeah.
forcibly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just happens. Without any like explanation. Like even like I work in fitness and a lot of my clients are INFJs. I'm like, how did this happen? Like it's like I cannot even explain it. Like it's just like, what the hell happened? How did I get so many INFJs?
Yeah, yeah. I've heard it explained before like this. Like the ENFP is like a kite and the INFJ is like the stone that keeps the ENFP like grounded.
Oh, is that right? I never heard of that. That's interesting. So let's talk about your TI. So your masculine TI. So like when you're talking to people and they are saying something illogical, do you like jump in and like correct them?
Like I know when they're saying something that doesn't seem logical, so it's like instinctual. Like I know like, oh, it seems wrong. I don't know exactly how to say it yet, but it's like I keep it in mind.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
But
I'm really attuned to like logical inconsistency and incongruity, but like
yeah.
my FE is like, probably maybe shouldn't say it. I'll just keep it to myself.
Okay, so that's what I find interesting then, because you're self above tribe, so technically you would have spoken up. But then again, I'm thinking too, maybe because you're type 9, you don't like in my opinion, in your type 9, and you don't like conflict. Like you absolutely cannot stand conflict. At least that's what from if you were type 9. What do you think?
For me, I like to like I don't like unnecessary conflict. So if I'm causing it without it needing a reason to be there, then I'd rather just like keep the conflict to myself. But if I think it'll benefit the person to know, like I'm very like strategic with what I disseminate, because I know that people, they have feelings, and as there's a logical inconsistency. But if the person isn't in the mindset to listen to you, then even if you say it, it will fall on deaf ears. So my strategy is I just don't want my words to fall on deaf ears, because my ideas are very personal to me. Like I spend a lot of like years of thought on it. Like my TI and NI are invested into understanding it. And I want to make sure that it's well received when I let it out.
Let's talk about that. Ideas are personal. Like what do you mean? Like if someone were to kind of step all over your ideas, would you get really hurt or offended, or disregard your ideas? Like let's say like I said, you took a long time to put it together, bang blocks and put it together, and then you finally present it to the world, and they kind of just make it seem like it's irrelevant. Like how would that make you feel? Or
for me, it depends how they dismiss it. So as long as they know that I've thought it through really well, and it wasn't like I didn't just throw it out like half baked, and they knew that I really cared when I said it, like I'm okay with them disagreeing. But if they think that like, oh, she just doesn't know because she didn't think about it, like that would offend me, because it's like, I'm sleep first. I have thought about this.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, keep going.
Yeah.
I need you to blast more.
Yes, I will try that. That's a good path to growth.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kendrick. So ideas are personal to me in the sense that I spend a lot of time thinking about like boiling it down to its essence, or like boiling down reality so it makes like coherent sense. So when the point is missed, I feel like I'm like they're not paying attention to what I'm trying to say. It feels like the majority of what makes me is not being seen, and it's like, oh, okay. It's like this. And I find it very nebulous and it's hard for people to understand. It's like an elephant. Have you heard of the metaphor like 5 blind men and the elephant? It's when there's like a blind man is trying to understand an elephant, and there's one touching the trunk, there's one riding the back, there's one holding its tail. And NI is this constant process of using blind men to understand conceptual realities around it. And so it's very amorphous in the sense that it's hard to communicate to someone what your blind men see, like from all perspectives. Like it's taking all of these impressions and it's merging it into this one that makes the elephant concept. And that NI is always trying to convey something like that, especially if they're like NI-TI. They're like, what is like the elephant? And they're trying to tell you about their conclusions on like, I'm seeing this. I'm trying to understand this. But since it's not said in a concrete way, like it can fall on people who aren't listening to it. And it can be like, you know, being unheard, you know, for most of my life has been a struggle.
So which, I just need some clarification here. So you're one of the blind men, and you're trying to put together this elephant. The elephant is the NI concept. But there's 5 different men trying to like put together this elephant. So where do you come in? Are you like one of the 5 the men, or are you all 5 of them like putting together a concept? Like I'm a little bit confused in that sense.
I guess it's kind of like looking at how people are seeing the same thing differently. Like if you see a teacup and I see a teacup, we may be looking at the same thing, but how we perceive it will be different, and how we talk about the teacup will be different.
Yeah.
So like, for me, my NI is like trying to take like, why are you seeing a different impression and I'm seeing a different impression of the objective SE reality? So there must be like a conceptual whole that makes these 2 perspectives coherent together.
So you're trying to make it like so that every single party that's looking at this concept would understand each other's what everyone is seeing. So
yeah, like,
now you're using sleep when you're doing this though. So if you're trying to gather other people's perspective, then you would have to either use play or consume, right? So so what's going on here? This is a little bit interesting.
That's true. I guess like I'm consuming and playing, and then I go back to sleep with it.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. So I consult with others, so I make sure that, you know, I'm making sure that I'm getting this clearly, and then I go on my own and I narrow an idea down to its core essence, and I try to like understand it and grapple with it.
Is it just you then? Like, because like, what if you're an INFJ with like consume last, right? Or like play last? Like, you're not gonna be looking at other people's perspective to put together this like this concept that you've figured in your head. So is this like something unique to someone that, you know, that has consumed and played in? Because then, you know, yeah, what do you think of that?
That's so interesting. I think it could be unique to that, because I'm very like sleep heavy and consume heavy, but
Yeah.
my consuming has to do with other people, and I wonder if it's because like I'm a feeler. So I try to figure out the human element of things.
Yeah. No, because my sister's an INFJ, and she would like just stay in her room for like months on end, and she would be like, you can hear her laughing to herself, you know, and like, yeah, it's funny. And then, you know, and it's because she doesn't need to consume, you know, like she has play and consume, like, you know, at the end of her demon stack, right? So she doesn't need to like leave her room ever, you know. And she's a blaster, like the max blaster, like blast, right? So, and I'm thinking, like, you never gathered any information to begin with, but then the way you use your NI seems completely different, because you do have the consume and that play also, like, you know, right beside each other. So you're almost like a gathering machine, right? Like strangely enough, like for an IJ who's supposed to be lead organized, you're actually a gather machine. So it's kind of interesting that like how do you feel about that, like being a weird like organized gather machine? You know, it's like a weird paradox almost.
That's so interesting. Yeah, so I guess I gather how like people think, and what I do is I organize it into a known concept. And I try to refine this known concept and this inner abstraction more and more.
Do you have any examples of this? Like that when you've done this? Any specific example?
Oh yeah, true. Examples aren't my strong suit, but I'll try.
Okay.
Yeah. So an example of this is when I'm trying to understand the concept of type 9, like what you've just mentioned. Like I'll try to understand it from your point of view, and then like from other people's point of view, and then I'll go like, what seems to be consistent, and what is the underlying thing that can explain this? And I'm like, interesting, and then I'll ruminate about it in my own time. And since I'm self above tribe, or like being Ni-Ti, makes me a very intellectual, analytical INFJ, and I use this to like understand what like myself sees things through gathering, refining, consuming, and seeing what's left. Does that make sense?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, I get the general idea of what you're saying. You're definitely very NT. Like I'm talking to you right now. I'm like, yep, she's definitely an NT, because my INFJ sister would be talking about crystals and magic powers and stuff. It like.
Oh, I can talk about crystals and magic powers too.
Okay, yeah, but then you're kind of laughing about it when you mention it, right? Like it's like it's like you're interested in that stuff, but you know there's also like a funny connotation to it, so you kind of get it. But like my sister would just get mad that you're laughing at the crystal thing, you know, like it's yeah. Let's talk. So do you fear chaos? Because you seem to have double activated SE. So what's your relationship with SE chaos? You know, the chaos from incoming physical sensory.
Yeah, so with the sensory, like I can be so caught in my head making sense of things with the sleep and consume. Like an example is I was at work and we had to pack chickens.
Yeah.
And my coworker put the chickens on the desk, and I was like, oh, like where is that? Like I can't see it. And he's like, Joyce, it's like a few centimeters from your face. Like in a way that like I'm so busy making sense of the world that I can sometimes miss out on the SE reality, and it's like chaos. And the thing with like SE last, my workplace, they did an entire renovation of the kitchen, and for me, I didn't notice that they like changed the stove and the scenery, and they were like, hey Joyce, did you notice anything different? And I'm like, it took a few seconds to register. I'm like, oh, you changed this. And I'm like, what? Like the SE seems to change without me entirely paying attention to it always. So
right.
Yeah.
So is that because you have feminine sensory, or is because you do have double activated SE, right? So in a sense you would be able to, I guess, ping on it more. But because it's feminine, is it harder for you to see? Things are more blurry, I guess, in the physical world. Would you say that?
I see it, but I guess sometimes I like it's a hit or miss. It's like some obvious realities may pass by, but I normally catch it. But I guess with chaos, one of the things in my life is that I want to, like, with things, I'll try to control it in the sense that I guess with this interview, I just wanted to like make sure that it was on, like we had the right times and it was blocked at the right times, so there wouldn't be chaos. So I do a lot of things to prevent chaos.
Oh, I see.
So I like try to, block things and like schedule and time things.
Yeah.
Or like have goals and intentions and priorities that can prevent chaos. And when those goals or that thing in my head doesn't play out like I want it to, like the chaos can be, a little jarring for me to handle.
Gotcha. So as long as you kind of plan it out, it's okay. Like because I think the good thing about your specific animal stack is that you can see the incoming chaos. Like you can kind of predict what's gonna come, and then you can kind of like prevent those from happening already, so that when you go in that box, your IJ box, and time to do your work, those chaos has already been kind of fended off. Like you did a preemptive strike. Does that sound about right?
Yeah.
Because before yeah, sorry, keep going.
Yeah, it's like I'll try to anticipate chaos so it doesn't surprise me. But when things don't go according to my vision, like I can feel really like off kilter because of it. Because I had like this entire like, you know, how I'm going to approach it, and then now it's being ruined by this chaos.
Yeah. Okay. I'll give you an example. Okay, let's say we're doing this interview right now, and then for some reason your phone starts buzzing like really loudly. And then after you turn off your phone, you look at the screen, and then now the camera shuts off. Like, how would you feel? Like, you know, like how all the sensory just like suddenly like came and hit you. You know?
I'd be like, oh no. I'm like, how did I not anticipate this? It's like, it's also an ego hit too, because like I try to control things. So when it doesn't actually like go well, then I'm like, I didn't think everything through. Then it like, I'll be like, oh no, I didn't turn off my phone.
Oh, like you mean because you're supposed to be the best at sleep process because you have it first, right? And then you miss this one thing, meaning you didn't think it through as much as you should have. I think that one of the interesting thing about your type is you have double masculine internal world, right? You have masculine Ni and Ti. So what is that like, having that intense, you know, inner masculine world?
It's, I can be very sure in my like NI ideas then, I guess, because like I've spent so much like like masculine in the terms of like I'm very proactive with developing my ideas.
Yeah.
I take charge with developing my ideas. And with TI, like I feel like I'm very I'm very particular when I notice like logical inconsistencies, but I try to be like FE tactful with it. Yeah.
Okay, so when you present it, it's very considerate of other people's feelings. It's not like, you know, not like, it's not blunt, you know.
Yeah, like I try to consider like their long-term emotional health after what I say, like so I don't want to leave things worse off than when it came. And I'm really careful in that sense.
Yeah.
But I also have like I'm not afraid to say my ideas either.
Yeah.
But they can be kind of hard to understand because I'm not talking about a specific thing, but I'm talking about the zone of the idea, and I'm trying to describe the zone of it.
You also have double feminine play. So what's that like?
It's really like I'm very movable externally. Like emotionally, like I try to ping off people and I try to be there and be interactive. But at the end of the day, I have this masculine world that I return to. That it's very intellectual and it's very like siphoning ideas through a filter.
Yeah.
So I guess as a feminine, double feminine, I feel like I'm able to move with people as they require, or like maybe that's the double deciding, like I can go back and forth without taking it like to heart.
Yeah. Yeah, let's talk about that. What is it like for you to be a double decider? Like, is it easy for you to see your point of view and also the other person's point of view, and you know, you can make fun of yourself, you can make fun of other people, and it's all relatively balanced, would you say?
Yeah. Yeah, I can go back and forth with that,
And then
and I don't take it personally.
so if people make fun of you, you kind of just like shrug it off. You think it's funny, and then it's in it.
I think it's funny, yeah. Yeah, it'd have to be a personal, like actual, like personal attack for me to even take it seriously. But I'm normally like playful with
But what would be like a personal attack that would like?
you'd have to like go like I'd hurt your family or something like
Oh,
that.
I see. Gotcha. Yeah, gotcha. Okay. No, that's good. That's good. That's a good example, actually. Yeah. You know, the interesting thing is that we both have double masculine internal world, and we both have double feminine external world. Like,
That's cool.
yeah, it's so weird because I was just looking at your like function stack. I'm like, oh my god, ours is a bit different though, right? Because you have NITI and I have FISI, right? So, but like we both have, both of us, we both have savior control, which is like NI for you, SI for me, and we both have masculine internal decider, and we both have feminine external observer. So for a gathering, it's both feminine, and we both have feminine. For you, FET. So I just think it's very interesting. It's like it's almost like we're mirrors almost, except like different types, right?
That's
Um,
interesting. How do you experience being a mirror to like my experience? Any parallels you could draw while I was talking?
well, like there's some differences because like for you, you're very intense when it comes to figuring out your ideas, right? Like you said that you would feel hurt if you did not think things through. Like if something happens in the physical world and chaos hit you, you would be upset at yourself because you miss thinking things through, right? So that's kind of like you beating yourself up, right? Because it's like double masculine, so you beat yourself up essentially. Um, but for me, it's a little bit different because my sleep is actually the physical sleep. It's actually like sleeping, right? So I get really aggressive. If people wake me up, or like if like like I'm trying to get my peace and someone's like disturbing me. Like I get really aggressive. But it's my fourth animal though, so we're different in the sense that your first is my last, right?
That's so interesting. Yeah, you're reverse in that sense too.
Yeah,
How
yeah.
I know this is your interview of me, but I'm wondering, how does it feel like to have sleep last? Since I deal with it like all the time, it's like water to me. So it's like I'm like a fish in water with it. Like I can't get out of it. So I'm wondering how it's like to be it last.
I can use it pretty well now, but like when I was younger, I couldn't use it. No, I mean I could. Um, I don't think things through, to be honest. Like I do before I think, and then after I do, then I'm like, oh my god, did I just do that? Then that's when I freak out, right? Well, while like someone would freak out first inside. Like they'll think about the situation, they'll be like, oh my god, and then you start freaking out, right? But for me,
Yeah.
I'll do it first, and I'll freak out afterwards, right? So it's like a little bit, it's like the opposite. And I can only use sleep if like the best time I can use sleep is if I'm in a vehicle. Like let's say I'm driving a car, or I'm in a long plane ride or long bus ride. That's kind of like, it's almost like because I'm moving, I have now the permission to use sleep because I can't just sit like let's say in my apartment and sleep process. That would be like inefficient use of time. But if I'm driving, then I'm already going somewhere, so then I can. It would be an efficient use of time to go use sleep. Or if I'm in a long plane ride, then like I'm gonna be sitting here anyways. I might as well go use sleep process, right? Think about my emotions because my FI, right? So it's SI FI. So SI like reflects back in the past, and I kind of see how I feel based on a lot of the past interactions or events that happened to me. So that's kind of like where we're different. But you have NITI, so how do you use that then? Like,
With my sleep, it's like I come up with ideas on the human condition in
yeah,
like my own time.
yeah,
But it's like I'll think about it and I'll build on it as like the SC collects more like data like
yeah.
that that can add on to it. But I'm like building this like essential universal blueprint for how I see the world. So that's what I guess they mean by a rich inner life with sleep people.
Okay, I'm trying to understand it better. So, um, let's get you to blast a little bit more. So you're trying to build a rich inner world, and you're focusing on the human condition. What have you come up with so far? What have you discovered so far?
I guess it depends on the topic, but I guess one of the things I've come across, this is a concept from Personality Hackers, so I don't take any credit for it, but it's like there's this cost of specialization. So when someone is really high in sleep like me, it's like giving up the lower processes like blast. And that like type is really useful in the sense that it lets you know what you might be neglecting because you're overemphasizing on a certain part. And that everything you do, every specialization comes with the cost, and it's like life needs a sort of balance between those two things, or else you're neglecting a perspective that's different from you without knowing. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it makes sense. I mean, that's what we're all doing this for, right? So we can, work on kind of like what we're missing. I think the interesting thing that Dave and Shan always talks about is like you almost can't use your last animal or your last function without going through the steps first, right? Do you find that true for yourself? Like you can't use blast until you've gone through sleep, consume, and play first?
Yeah, wow. That is so true. It's like it has to pass through that entire process before I blast. So there's like so much behind it too. There's like, yeah.
Now, they also said that the stack, the function stack still matters, right? So what that means is that your Ni and your Fe still has the highest potential for growth versus your Ti and your Se. So because you have blast last, it's getting the least amount of practice of your other animals. However, the Ni Fe container, let's say your Ni is like it's like a big I don't know, like a giant like bucket, while like your Se is just like a shot glass, right? And so you know, like, and then you know you could say your Ti is like, you know, a glass of water, while like, you know, the Fe would probably be I don't know, like a pitcher, right? So like you have different sizes. Now because you're using your blast last, that's actually your biggest container, right? So it's the one that's being used the least. However, as you get older, it technically will almost overtake the other glasses, and technically your blast will be your strongest at some point in your life. Do you think this is gonna be true for you? Do you think, have you seen this already happening? Or like what's your thought on this?
I see this happening right now. Yeah, I've been having like major like back and forth between whether or not I think like I'm NITR and NIFE. But
Yeah.
like, I do agree with Dave and Shan's assessment. But I noticed that I'm starting to blast a lot more, in the sense that like I'm trying to like write a book. I'm trying to put myself out there, and I'm trying to talk with more people and like present and get started, and to do something with MBTI instead of just ruminating and thinking about it.
You're writing a book. What are you writing your book on?
It's currently on the 16 types.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a secret release.
Okay, no. Okay, we won't go into detail then if it's secret.
Yeah, thank you for asking.
Yeah. Now, you are a tester. What is a tester like? Like, what are you doing? Like, what are you like testing or trying out?
For me, like, I guess I like to test if like OP rings true. So like I like to see people's OP types, and I like to like test it and go like, well, do you resonate with this? And like, which part do you not resonate with, and which one do you actually do? And then I'll try to understand where it lines up and where there's confusion, and I'm trying to figure out where that comes from.
Um, are you also doing any testing on the sensory world? Like, do you try different food, or like do you buy different clothes, or like what are you doing anything like this in the sensory world, or is it just all ideas?
Yeah, I do. For my birthday, which was recently, my friend took me out for like Wagyu beef at this restaurant, and we
Yeah.
had like this fatty tuna at this restaurant too, and it was really good. I got to try like new Japanese dishes.
Yeah.
And, yeah, so I was testing that.
So you enjoy testing different foods, like new food, and
Yes. I'm a glutton in that sense.
yeah, no, that's good. No, because you know when they talk about like IJs having a box, they usually don't want to leave the box, right? But like an IJ tester would kind of be like contradictory almost, because you're like, yes, you have a box, but you also like to try different stuff, right? So it's kind of like there's like this weird contradiction happening. I don't know if that makes sense to you, you know?
Yeah, it makes complete sense. It's like there's the IJ box, but I'll find like excuses to add something to my IJ box. So I'm like, well, this Wagyu beef will teach me about how this food tastes, and then I'll have that to add to my arsenal of IJ information, and I'll rationalize it into the box.
So your box has a lot of holes then. Like a lot of things can come in the box.
It's like a grabbing box, so it's
Oh yeah,
like
there's hands outside.
hands.
Yeah, yeah. That's cool. So it's not like those super steel IJ box. Like nope, no, nothing's getting in, nothing's coming out. You know, it's like, hey, everyone's
Yeah,
friendly. You can all come in. You know.
it's friendly, but it has like clear boundaries, but like I'll try to make looser boundaries to get in new information for my consume. So if it's like an experience that I should experience, like it's like, Joyce, you should try to live a little, you know, not just stay in this box. And it's like, I have to go outside of it and try new stuff.
Do you say that to yourself? Like you should live a little? Like, is that the kind of some of the things that you tell yourself?
Not really, but it's a tidal wave that might start coming up more. Yeah, because sometimes.
How come? Why is that tidal wave coming up soon?
Because I feel like I can see like reasons for why doing things aren't good, but I should just experience for the sake of experiencing. So with SE, it's about like trial and error, and it's just doing things and getting more experiences under your belt. But like I feel like for me, I only want to try things if it's going to, like, if I can tell the path and its direction. And I feel like it cuts me off from a lot of experience in life, and I feel like I should let myself out more.
So you're also having a little bit of FOMO then, like in that sense, like fear of missing out. Yeah. That's so interesting. Do you feel like you have a little bit of that FOMO as a result of FE? Because, you know, maybe you see a lot of your friends valuing that, and then you feel like maybe I should value that too. Like, do you feel like you're getting influenced because of that, or not so much?
Yeah, I get influenced by my FE. Like I move with the tribe. Like my own narrative sometimes moves with the tribe, and I'll go like, you know, you should do it. You know, people are doing it.
And then you're like, okay.
Yeah.
Let's talk about your FE. So your FE is feminine, right? And you said that you kind of move with the tribe. Does that mean your values is also movable based on what the tribe values, or?
Yeah, I think so. It's my Achilles heel.
Well, let's talk about that. Like, do you have any examples? Because technically, FE would be the biggest thing that you would have issues with, then, right? Technically, right? So, how is it your Achilles heel, and how has your values moved because your tribe members have moved the values? You know?
Yeah. So in a sense, if my tribe members value a certain perspective, like I can see why they'd see that, and you know, I would move towards that. For example, if they see like school, it's like my best friend's a ENFP, and she doesn't agree with the school system, and she's like, it doesn't really help people learn. And I'm like, I'm internalizing her values about the school system because I can see why she believes that. I may have like a more broad way of seeing it, but I'm like, I get my values move with the tribe and how they are solid on certain things.
Yeah. So how did you react to your friend then, who does not value the school system, and like, did you follow her viewpoint, or did you just understand her viewpoint?
I followed it in the sense like I can see like the root of where it's coming from.
Yeah.
But I also like I can see why for some people it would work. But overall, I can see how it doesn't work for a lot of perceivers in general, because of the focusing can be difficult. And sometimes they're learning things that aren't in line with what they're interested in.
Yeah.
And that can affect it too.
Yeah. Oh, wow. That's interesting. Cool. I think it's so interesting that your friend's viewpoint about school is the same as my viewpoint. I wonder if that's like an ENFP thing. Then, you know, like, because I'm very anti-traditional school. I'm not against learning. I'm against traditional school. So I find that interesting that your best friend told you that viewpoint. I'm like, that's the kind of viewpoint I would tell people too.
Yeah. She's also against like traditional methods of counseling unless it's done in a nuanced way. She's like, sometimes it boxes people in and it doesn't let people like express their true self, and it doesn't help them. And I'm like, oh, I can see why you think that. So I'm getting influenced. I get influenced.
Wow, that's so funny. It's so funny. Yeah, well, I guess your ENFP friend has a lot of fun hanging out with you then. Because you just agree with their opinion, right? Because it makes sense also, right? Like it
makes sense. Yeah.
So that's super cool. Let's see. Do you have anything about, because have you ever spoken to Otim?
I've seen Otim in the group, unofficial personality group.
Yeah. Have you spoken to him before? Because you guys have the same type, right?
his friends. So
Was
OP
it
is a small village, and all my like Shannon is a close like my close friend Shannon is friends with Otim, and I like
Shannon? Shannon in the group, like the ENFP
yeah
group?
yeah
Oh, really? You're friends with her
yeah
in the group or in real life?
for lots of years, but in online.
Really? Oh, that's so crazy. Everyone's like connected.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah, because we have a giant ENFP Facebook group, right? It's like all the ENFPs are there, and like and then she's there, right? So I just think that's funny. Wow. All right. I don't know what other question I haven't asked you yet. I think did we forget to cover something? Play. What about play? Did we cover play already? So you have play demon, but it seems like you're using play a lot actually.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's up with that.
Have you noticed that? Like you use play a lot.
Do I? Thank you. That's such a compliment. I feel like you complimented my demons. Wow.
No, but it seems like you're using play quite a bit. Like it doesn't. I never. I don't feel like you don't know how to use play. Like it feels like when you're using play, it's smooth. It's like it's as if it's a savior.
Oh, thank you. Wow. I've considered sometimes maybe being an ENFJ, but that I'm too mopey. I'm way too mopey.
No, no, yeah, no. You're definitely a mope. Like yeah, but like um no, but like no, definitely because you're like there's something that confuses me now because I've spoken to people that have played third like you do, and some of them tend to come across more serious, but you like maybe you're serious inside, but when it comes to tribe, you're more. Maybe it's your double feminine play actually. Do you think it's your double feminine because it's double feminine that's more movable and it's easier to like joke around, laugh, not taking things too seriously. It's not so rigid. Like what do you feel like there's a truth to that or like how do you perceive your own play?
Yeah, I feel like there's truth to that. I feel like it could also be my feminine FE, but I guess in the sense I've been trying to improve that. Like I want to feel like people are connected to me. Like I don't want to make them feel like I'm in my isolated bubble. I won't, it's it's something important to me. I guess. I guess I also just like playing. After befriending a few ENFJs, I've started to pick off their mannerisms in the sense that I'm slowly being, how do you say it when you're like, I don't know how to say it, assimilating with people with play. So I think I'm getting influenced.
Right, right. Okay. How do you feel when you interact with INTJs? Like
I feel like their TE is sometimes like a hammer to me. Like it sometimes like they're hammering me with their logic.
yeah, and how do you feel about that?
I feel like sometimes I don't know how to defend myself because like TI to me feels very what's the opposite of offensive? Like it feels like defensive. Like my TI, like I'm good at like figuring statements, but I'm not good at proactively throwing my TI ideas out there. So
Right.
but like TE, like it's like offensive in the sense that it will proactively tell you its ideas in the environment. And sometimes I can feel a bit overwhelmed because I don't know how to like rebuttal in sometimes. So it's like
Is it people with masculine T that you struggle with? Because people with feminine T, I don't think would do that per se, because it's
that's true. I
so
agree.
so how would you react then? Let's say this is very interesting because you're using TI's defense, right? But your
Yeah,
TI is also masculine, so you have a strong defense.
yeah, it's a
You know?
strong, it's a
So,
tank.
so let's say an INTJ comes up to you and they have masculine TE and they're like hammering you with like their logic, right? Like how would you react to that? I don't have any concrete examples right now, um but do you know much about how TE works?
Yeah, like T's like about efficiency and like streamlining and like getting stuff done, right? And banging blocks.
But yeah, but the biggest thing with TE also is like what works for other people. Like I'll give you a concrete example. Like, have you ever planned a vacation with a friend before?
Mhm.
And who did the planning, you or your friend?
My friend.
Okay. Is your friend TE lead, or
Yeah,
is it your
and she
ENFP
also
friend?
really likes she likes vacations too, and she's TE. Yeah.
And then where did you guys go?
We never went because I wanted to stay in my IJ box.
Oh, that's horrible. Oh my God, that's awful.
I'm like, it's money to leave, and it costs no money to be in my IJ box.
So you don't like vacations then?
I haven't gone on one.
Oh my God. Oh my God. I can guarantee if you go, you'll be addicted. Maybe you shouldn't go. Maybe it's better you don't know. Yeah.
Maybe it's EP bias, their freedom bias. It's like, join the freedom.
No, it's not true because I know a lot of IJs that likes going on vacations. But I think going on the first vacation is the hardest.
Oh, sure.
But I think once you've done it once, I think you're gonna be like, oh my God, what have I been doing? Like,
have I been hiding under a shell?
yeah, well, you are. So you literally are, but like, yeah, but maybe you're right. Maybe you shouldn't go because it does cost money, right? So you'll save money by not knowing. Sometimes it's better you don't know, right? Like,
That's true.
yeah. Okay, that's super interesting. Does your friend have masculine T then? Your ENFP friend, would you say, or feminine T?
I'm guessing masculine TE because of her ability to not take compliments. So like she's very like she can tell you what works for you, but like when it gets to like mushy stuff, it's like she doesn't know what to say. It's like it catches her off guard.
Oh, so do you think your friend's an NET then?
I think she might be NET, maybe.
And like, no, it's weird because like if she's masculine T, then she has feminine FI, right? So she's very like soft and tender inside. Would you say she's soft and tender inside, or like if you?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, but she's not letting the compliment in. Like it's just blocked.
Yeah.
or do you think it's blocked, or do you think it's because they don't have FE, right? Like, cause like people who don't have FE, we don't know. Okay, maybe the word is we don't know. Like we know what the appropriate emotion to express on the external world is, but to express it is awkward. So, do you think it's because she doesn't know, or she feels awkward expressing it? Like
it's awkward, definitely awkward for her.
Yeah, because like I teach fitness, right? And part of what annoys me the most about fitness is having to like be FE, right? Like I have to make sure that the energy level is up, everyone's having a good time, and I'm like, oh my God, this is so draining. Like I can't fake the emotion, right? Like I can't put out the appropriate emotion. So there's like almost like it's not fluid, right? Like I'll teach a class and then I can see like some people they would be like dancing and stuff in the class and stuff like because I'm teaching spin, right? Like let's say I'm teaching spin, and then I'm like, oh my God, I know they want me to dance along with them, but I can't. It like feels awkward, like I can't do it. So what about you? If you're interacting with someone and let's say they're doing a kind of movement or they're expressing their emotion a certain way, do you feel it easy to mirror them?
Yes, and it's really fluid too, in the sense that I can fluidly mirror them, and it doesn't feel like there's cognitive dissonance. So it seems like with FI, there's like this slight cognitive dissonance. So
Yes,
if you aren't feeling it, then why should you like externally portray something you're not feeling? Or maybe like with FE, it's less about that. Like I feel more. I've never felt like cognitive dissonance by following someone's emotions before. Like it feels weightless to follow people's emotions.
Yeah, that's so interesting. What's have you ever been in a situation where you're not supposed to follow someone's emotions? You're supposed to keep your own emotion, or never? Like,
I'm oblivious to my own emotions sometimes.
oh no! Oh my God, that's so interesting.
Yeah, I know. Like I can know, but the moment like there's external emotions for me to organize, like I lose touch of my own emotion because I'm focused on the external emotional pulse at the sacrifice of my internal emotional pulse.
Okay, I definitely think you're type 9 because like I know a lot of type 9s and they have this thing that they do. It's kind of like they numb their own emotion in the sake of harmony for other people. Maybe you should look into. I think you're type 9 wing 8 to be honest, because you're impulsive and you're and then you tend to like another thing that you said at the start of the interview too was like you have a trouble with like standing out or being seen. Like I think you said that earlier, right? And type 9s tend to shrink themselves so they don't get seen. So it's like I was like, oh my God, we already have 3 data points here that proves you're type 9. But hey, you know what? You should explore that, like really look into it. And type 9s are also very indecisive too, right? Which makes it even harder. Like, are you very indecisive, would you say?
I'm decisive with some things, indecisive with others. Like with the Enneagram, I'm very indecisive in the sense like I've read every profile. I'd go like this part fits, this part doesn't fit, and then I'm confused. Because like I do resonate with that about type 9s, but what I don't resonate with is I don't avoid my problems because I try to solve it, because I think leaving a problem creates chaos because the problem will fester into like a bigger problem.
Maybe you're just a growth mindset type 9, you know? Because because that's possible. Um, I have 2 questions for you. So do you think emotions are not private then? There's something that should be shared publicly? Because
Yeah,
you think so? Okay, interesting. And what about your SE? Do you think things are personal, or do you think things are like, it doesn't matter? Like,
it depends on the thing. Like, let me show you one of my items right now.
okay.
Like this is a cute thing, and
Is that a Pokemon?
yeah, it's a Victorian.
Okay.
And I'm okay with sharing that. I guess with my type books, like I can share that, but with certain things, like my products or like that I'm still using, like I expect there to be like some sort of like someone noticing that it's important to me. So at least like before taking it, to give me that heads up, because I feel like some things are important, some aren't.
I see.
I don't know.
Do you have brothers or sisters?
Yeah, I have one brother,
Older or younger?
older.
Does he take your stuff without telling you?
Yeah, or like he puts his feet on my pillow, and I really cannot I cannot deal with that.
Oh, why? Is it the germs or something, or what?
That's the germs.
Oh my God. Like, a lot of INFJs are germaphobes. Eh? It's so weird. At least we know you're like, a double decider because you freak out about things, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what other things would you normally freak out about? So the germs is one. Is there anything else? Like,
Yeah, like I freak out about my pets like being like dirty and on my clean stuff.
oh, you
And
have
I'm like,
pets.
yeah, I have 2 cats and a dog
Oh,
and
okay.
2 in here.
And then you're worried about the germs that they put on your bed?
Yeah, like I'm like hyper cognizant of like things that are clean touching things that are dirty, and it's just like like oh no.
Why does germs freak you out?
Well, they don't really freak me out that much. It's just in the sense that like I don't like my things being ruined when they don't have to be.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, it's like if I can prevent something happening that I don't want, then I'd rather prevent it. So I'm like a chaos controller.
Yeah. Okay, no, fair enough. Yeah, because
Yeah.
my sister's also paranoid with germs, right?
Yeah.
And she does the most filthy stuff, but then when it comes to like you lay sitting on our bed, like she freaks out about germs, right? And I'm like, what the hell? So then
Yeah.
I told her, I'm like, well, germs are probiotics, right? So the more you have, the stronger your immune system becomes. Like that's what I just say. Um, all right, so we're gonna wrap up the interview pretty soon, Joyce. I have 2 last questions for you. So my first question is like, a lot of INFJs out there struggle with either consume or struggle with, incoming sensory chaos. So by default, you are probably the best at this because you have double activated SE and you do have consume as a savior. What kind of advice can you give those INFJs that is struggling with having consume last, or struggling with not knowing how to deal with incoming chaos?
I would say that with chaos, it's inevitable. Like it's always going to be there. So it's like deal with it, like take it in pangs. So I guess like you can slowly open the gates to slight chaos and then close and then open and close, in the sense that you schedule time for chaos so it seems less chaotic. Because
Oh,
you have the plan, but you also have the chaos, so it's planned chaos. Maybe that would help.
like exposure therapy, kind of?
Yeah, exposure therapy. It's like if you're not feeling that confident with it, like deal with something that's slightly out of territory and keep going with that. And
Yeah.
through exposure, you'll traumatize yourself into being okay with it.
So have you done that before? Have you planned chaos on purpose and have you gone through with it?
Yeah, I guess I let my friends plan, like if they want to go to a mall or if they want to go to eat at a new restaurant, you know, I'm open to that. And, you know, that's like letting chaos in, that helps the FE tribe. Like if the tribe values it, then it's easier to take in the chaos. It's like, I'll embrace it for the team.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, as long as it's not a vacation. Just kidding. Just kidding. Now, the last question I have for you is, I have functions that you don't have, which is all of them. Do you have any questions about like some of the functions that you don't have to get a better understanding of it? So I have Fi, Te, Si, and Ne. Do you have any questions about any of those functions that you're confused about? Maybe you want more clarification.
Yeah. How's it like to have Fi?
Fi?
Yeah.
I think, you know what, the funny thing is you're asking me this because the person I interviewed yesterday asked me about the same thing. So this seems to be a popular topic. But like Fi, so I have masculine Fi, so I can tell you from a masculine Fi standpoint. You might have to ask someone feminine Fi because I think there is some difference. But like with masculine Fi, I pretty much know what I like and what I don't like. And even though I'm in a room full of like people that's trying to force me, or not even force me, but like get me to adhere to tribe values, I have massive resistance to it. Like I don't get moved. Like people are laughing, I'm not laughing, you know, like unless it's really funny, obviously. But like, you know, um, I also have like a shit list in my head of people. Like I put people in categories. Like right when I usually when I have friends or when I meet them. So I have people that I would say like that are like close friends, but then I have close friends that I like but I don't respect, and I have people that I don't like. I don't like them at all, but I respect them. You know, and then I have people that like there are close friends. There are people that are like just my work friends. There are people that are just like acquaintances, and I make sure that based on their category, I don't let them go in the do activities that I don't do with like certain categories. So it's like it's that's how like I put people in, but also like with myself too, right? Like I know what I like. Like for me, I like to play video games. I like to watch like wrestling, like WWE. You know that fake fighting stuff. Like you know like so I have my own stuff that I like and dislike, and like I'm pretty like set on that. So like if people trying to get me to do something and I don't like it, I'll just tell them I don't like that. Sorry, I'm not gonna do it. You know, like it's. But then I have feminine T, right? So when I say it, it's softer, unless I get really triggered. So I don't know if that answered your question, but that's. Oh, also I can, so because I have NE also, I can also gather people's FIs. Like I can gather people's FIs. So when I talk to people, I'm just actually observing their FI. Like even if they don't have FI, because everyone has FI to an extent, right? So I'm observing them. I'm like, okay, and I'm like, and I kind of gather. I gather them as a person, right? And I'm like, I see. So they're saying something to me, but then I'm not really. I'm more like paying attention to their behavior, and their like SI track record, and then like, and I archive it in my head, right? You know. So that's what that's how I personally use it.
That's so cool. It's like there's some parallels between Fi and Ti in the sense like Fi, it sorts emotional categories. It's like it'll sort people into like fine categories of like where they emotionally stand with you. Like you respect, but you don't like this person. You like this person, but you don't respect. It's like you have this keen awareness of where they like emotionally stand in regards to you. Whereas like how I see Ti is Ti sorts logic into finer and finer subcategories. So
Yes.
it's like there's this logical and emotional parallel between them.
Yeah, I don't know what TI is at all. So, you know, like I've had many people explain to me and I can see it, but I don't know what it like. I don't know how to use it. Like I never will understand it. I think that's my biggest blind because like I can kind of see the NI, I can see like what FE is. But the TI, I'm like, I have absolutely no clue.
Yeah, for TI, it's kind of like a framework that sorts logical impurities. So it's like this is consistent with logic, this is inconsistent. So it's like what works for me. But like, so I'm not using a logical standard that like everyone has access to, but it's like my own self-created one. But it's so cool how you mentioned FI. You talked about how FI is, you're looking for other people's FI. So you're looking for their inner motivation, like what they want, or can you describe that a little more?
Yeah, no, like it's definitely like, yes, inner motivation is one of them, but it's more like I'm trying to see what the person stands for, you know, like who are you and what do you care about and what do you want to do with your life, you know? I'm always curious to hear, like, when people start talking about their passions, their hobbies, like what they love to do, what they're really into. I might not care about those things that they're doing, but I want to hear them talk about it. You know, like what really matters to you. That to me is like, that to me is huge, right? So I always ask people like, so what is it that matters to you the most? You know, and then like they'll tell me, right? And then sometimes they'll tell me, and what they tell me is real, and I'm like, okay, that's super cool. I'm inspired. But sometimes when they're telling me, and I'm like, this person's full of shit. You know, like, so like I can tell if they're full of shit or if they actually mean what they're saying.
So FI is like an authenticity bullshit detector. It's
Yes,
like,
yes, it is. Yeah. So TI is like illogical inconsistencies, right? While
yeah.
FI is like authenticity, like inconsistencies with your behavior. Yeah, exactly. So that's what it is. Yeah.
Wow, that is so amazing.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
So,
Joyce. Do you have any more questions?
yeah. One thing to wrap it up. So
Yes,
it seems
yes.
like with your FI, you like to point out like the person's passions, and then you like to have a TE effectiveness way of helping them reach that. So I looked at your interview with Otim, and it seemed like you pointed out his passion, which was for like sports, and then you helped him create a TE, what works for him, or what works for the tribe to help him make it possible. So it's like
Yeah,
you're,
like his action steps that he needs to take to
yeah.
further that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he changed his plan already, so I'm like, okay. I think it's because he has FE, right? So I'm like, damn it, he changes. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. Yeah, it's really annoying for me. Like sometimes when I deal with INFJs, I love INFJs, but like sometimes I get so frustrated. I'm like, oh my god, how did you change your values already? Like, are you kidding me? Like you were really into this, now you're into like this. Like what the heck? Like, like that's not even yours. You're just copying what the tribe wanted to do, right? And I'm like, oh my god. But then like I need to learn how to like understand and accept that, because it's like, you don't have FI, you have FE, right? So it's okay.
Yeah.
Right. But
Yeah.
then I think the one part that I won't accept is like if the person is doing self-destructive behavior. So like if you're still happy and you're doing something meaningful for yourself, even though it's not in an FI way, I think that's fine. But the moment it's not, it's like destructive now. It's like, no, that's not cool. That's like, you should, like, I'm gonna FI punch you now. Like, yeah.
Is it the TE punch? It's like that
No, I
is.
don't have a TE punch. I have an FI punch. My TE is feminine, right? So I don't really.
Yeah, that's true. Oh wow, your FI is feisty.
Yeah, my FI is, yeah, it's aggressive. Like I'll go up to people like, you're full of shit. Like that's all I'll say, right? Like, but my TE is not. It's not like, because TE would be like, if a masculine TE would be like, no, you need to do it like this, right? I never tell people how they should do it, unless they ask me, right? But it's more like their behavior that I would punch them in. I'm like, this behavior is unacceptable. This, because I'll be like, this is you at your best self, and now you're acting like this, and you're acting like this because of your insecurities with, I don't know, with your tribe or whatever, right? And but
So
like, sorry.
that's so interesting. Yeah. So you give them space to have their FI passion, and it can be unique from you. Like you recognize that every individual has their own FI thing, but
Yeah.
like how they go about it, it's like if it's destructive, you're like, no, that's bad.
Right. I mean, because I feel like everyone has something that they're passionate about, like whether you're aware of it or not. There's always something that like lights up your eyes, and you're like, oh my god, yeah, this is my thing. I love this thing. Even though you're someone that doesn't have FI, I think even though you don't have FI, you probably still have it. You just need someone with FI to tell you what it is, or at least like help you figure out what it is, right? Because then they've seen you when you were most excited. They've seen you when you were most happy. They've seen you when you were most productive. And based on that track record of your emotional spikes when you were at your best, that clearly is your FI. Now, sometimes the problem is with if you were to follow that FI, you would get tribe backlash. So for someone that might have FE, they might not want to have the tribe backlash, so they rather go with what the tribe says that you should value. But the bad thing about that is now you're sacrificing your own happiness to merge with a tribe and to kind of ease the concerns of the tribe, right? So
Yeah.
for me, that's like unacceptable, right? Like that to me is like, no, like what are you doing? Like you're gonna be miserable if you keep appeasing the tribe. You have to do something for yourself. But then I also get the fact that, okay, they have FE, and FE they need to do that, right? So I don't know how TI would do that then. How do you use your TI then to figure out what should work for you, or what you should do? Like I don't get it. Like how would you use your TI then? Because TI is your identity, right? So how does it work?
Yeah, so with my TI, like I know what logically makes sense or what doesn't, and I'm very like I hold strong with that. But with FE, it's interesting to contrast it a bit with your FI description. For me, FE feels like it feels so real in the moment, but after the moment, the feeling it passes through, and I don't integrate it.
Yeah.
So it's almost like my FE feels fragmented in the sense that I'll feel it so strongly in the moment, and it feels so real, but after the moment, the emotion for myself, it fades. Like I remember how the tribe feels about it.
Yeah.
But for myself, I don't identify or I don't cling to my emotions. It's what I use to make sense of the tribe, but that like the inner compass is something I should also develop. I guess.
No, but how does your TI filter it then? Because it's a filter, right? It's like,
Yeah.
TI and FE, they work together, right? Kind of like T and FI. So how do you filter your TI then?
Yeah, so I guess I take a lot of FE input, and I'll try to filter it through like what TI can I take away from it, and what is gold and what is coal with my TI, and then I'll keep the gold of the roots that I can hang on to, the origins, the thoughts that seem to hold true. Like I'll store it, and then the rest, like the coal, I'll throw away. Because I want to create like the best TI framework that I can.
What is your personal truth then?
My personal truth is that like reality is a messy thing. It's like you know the dress that was blue and yellow, and then there's white and yellow or something. Like there's a blue and black dress and the white and yellow dress, and that everyone sees a different dress, and that our perception is our reality, and ultimately different things feel real to different people, and that if you figure out how to see that, then there would be less conflict, because as a type 9, it's good to make everyone on the same page so people don't have to fight over things that tear them apart.
Are you saying you agree with your type 9 now?
I might change my mind the next day.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. That's so funny. All right, Joyce, thanks for doing the interview. That was very insightful.
Thanks so much, Kendrick, for having me. Bye.
I'm going to hit the stop button. I'll say goodbye to everyone. And